Now, really quick before I get into this video, I know I usually apologize for oh, I'm sorry I was sick for this long or blah 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 blah. Well, I am sorry, but it just couldn't have been helped this time. I got a respiratory infection twice in the past couple of weeks. I had this big festival that I went to for theater and everything. Just a bunch of stuff got in the way, sickness and just school in general. But now, since I'm on Thanksgiving break and I'm still very sick, but I can at least talk for a big chunk of time, I'm going to get this review over with since it's been sitting here on my computer for about a month. So now I can edit it and stuff. So let's get this done, guys. Okay, so apparently when I wrote the review, I was actually going to re-review Battlefront before I started playing this game. I was going to review all of its new DLCs and about how it's coming out with a new complete edition for $35, which we knew was going to happen. It's just blah, blah, blah. Just extra stuff that I'll probably never, ever get to be completely honest. Okay, so this game takes place in between Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, and Episode 4, New Hope. You play as Starkiller. Yep, just one word. That's his entire name, Starkiller. Okay, I guess. He's the son of a Jedi who was killed by Darth Vader in the first mission of the game. Vader takes you and proclaims you as his apprentice. And your objective that Vader gives you is to improve your skills by killing Jedi. Now, Vader wants you to do this, besides obvious reasons, to, I guess, prove yourself that you're worthy to help him defeat Emperor Palpatine. And you want to defeat Emperor Palpatine so Vader can rule the galaxy. So basically, every single extended universe game or book ever. Anyways, without spoiling anything, this game actually ties both trilogies with no holes at all. At least there weren't any holes until we brought in Rogue One and Star Wars Rebels. See, thanks to those being canon, this game is actually now part of the extended universe. Oh, my bad. Legends. If you don't know, Legends is basically the dump of all Star Wars stories, games, books, anything that is not a part of the canon after Disney bought LucasArts/Lucasfilms. Actually, just Lucasfilms, since they completely shut down LucasArts. We will never forget.
Who can say what your heart says, as your love lies only time.
Oh, blessed the poor souls who'd lost thine jobs. God, I was never good at Shakespeare. Now, something very neat and cool about this game is that there's two different versions of this particular game. The PSP version, the Wii version, and the PlayStation 2 version were all made by Chrome Studios. And the other version for all the other platforms except for the DS was made by LucasArts. So, technically, 3 versions. But who really cares about the DS port? And you'd think that the LucasArts version is the best, right? Well, actually, from what I see, it's a very mixed bag. The Force Unleashed as a whole is loved by all, at least the first one. But there's a rift in between which version is better. From what I've been told, Chrome's version has a better flowing story, but LucasArts obviously has the upper hand in the graphical department due to its superior hardware. Something weird is that Chrome's version uses in-game cutscenes instead of the famous, beautiful pre-rendered ones from the LucasArts version. I guess it's not that weird, seeing as if we're working with the PlayStation 2, the PSP, and the Wii. Actually, Final Fantasy X was very beautiful on the PlayStation 2, and the Spider-Man 2 on the PlayStation Portable use the exact same cutscenes from the PlayStation 2 version. Just very compressed. But whatever. When I get the PC version, my bad. When I get the PC version in the future, far future, I'll do a review on that version and I'll see if it's good or even better than this version. It'll most likely be the same, but it won't kill me to compare. Now, weirdly enough, the version that you're seeing is the PlayStation Portable version, and it's actually being played on my newly built PC. Link in the description to my last video. Even though for some weird reason in editing, it got really quiet, so you can barely hear what I'm saying. Anyway, I'm playing this on my computer thanks to emulation. And something that I've noticed on most PlayStation Portable games that I emulate on my computer is that they are definitely better looking than they would on a regular PSP. Sure, it's not something that you prefer to see over the stunning visuals of the other versions of this game, but its graphics definitely do get the job done. Now, some of you are asking, why are you playing this on PPSSPP, the PSP emulator I use, and not PCSX2, the PS2 emulator I use, or Dolphin, the GameCube/Wii emulator that I use? Well, there is no Wii ISO to play on Dolphin, at least online at least, and PCSX2 has an issue to where if you play the game in hardware mode, you get 40 to 50 frames per second, but half of the screen is black. You can barely see it at all, I swear. But if you play it in software mode, you get a very ugly game running at only 30 frames per second, and I thought that I would be able to play it at that speed. But this is a very fast-paced game, and it's emulation, so it's not perfect, so I don't know if it made it slower. It was not going to cut it. I pressed jump, and like 3 seconds later, the jump was completed. Now, while graphics don't make or break a game, in my opinion, good God, sickness equals no speaking. Now, while graphics don't make or break a game in my opinion, oh my God, in my opinion, whatever, they can help for set pieces and cutscenes, such as the very famous Star Destroyer scene, where Starkiller single-handedly takes down a flying Star Destroyer. Now I'm going to show you the same scene from the two different versions of the game. Then after I show you guys the scenes, then, and only then, I want you guys to tell me which one is cooler. Now here we are with the first, oh my God, here we go with the first one, which is the LucasArts version. And now, the Chrome Studios version.
You there, boy?
The first one, right? I thought so. See, the first one is beautiful, and you can actually see and like feel the weight of that Star Destroyer in Starkiller's eyes. But in the second one, he just does it with ease and just stays there and whips out his lightsaber at the end. It doesn't feel real, and I know it's a game, but the first one, we really felt the weight of the Star Destroyer coming down onto the planet. And it's not like the PSP or the PS2 or the Wii could not handle good graphics. Like I said earlier, PlayStation Portable, PS2 graphics, or PS2 pre-rendered cutscenes, just compressed. It's been done before. It wouldn't kill you. Besides that specific moment and a few other ones, the PlayStation Portable graphics aren't that bad. Besides the very lifeless Starkiller eyes. God, you're creeping me out there, Starkiller. Stop it. Stop it. Halloween was over a month ago. You're late. So is this review, so I can't say a word. Now, something that we can praise for every single version of this game, except the DS version, screw the DS version, is its freaking fantastic gameplay. Oh my god. There is just an array of different force powers. There's Force Lightning, Force Push, Force Repulse, Force Dash, and of course there's the lightsaber. But surprisingly, the lightsaber wasn't used that much in my playthrough. And this is an action game. I wouldn't really call it a hack and slash because it doesn't feel like an extremely fast-paced game or high-octane like something like Transformers Devastation or Metal Gear Rising. It's not specifically a platformer either because while there are some platforming segments, there's not enough to warrant that title. So, like a lot of Star Wars games, it is in the middle though. But do try to upgrade your force powers because you will feel freaking amazing by the end of the game. You are unstoppable by the end of the game. It is so rewarding, that feeling of just all power. Ooh. I'm having Vietnam flashbacks of this game. But not the bad kind. The good kind. The good kind. I promise. Also, there are boss battles. Like I mentioned earlier, you have to kill Jedi. And even later, there are 2 boss battles with 2 very big Star Wars characters, which are very obvious, but I'm not going to mention it because I'm a good guy. Anyways, the boss battles, while they do feel kind of run-of-the-mill, I will be honest. They're not bad, and there are patterns that you do have to eventually pick up on, but once you pick up on them, the boss battle is a breeze, like the rest of this game. Hint. Very subtle hint to my gripes with this game. Subtlety.
If you spell subtly like this.
Now, after you finish the campaign, there's a good amount of extra content to still keep you playing the game, such as historic missions, where you play a historic moment from one of the films, force duels, where you fight an endless amount of Jedi or Sith, in rounds of course, as a certain Jedi or Sith, and there are even more unlockable modes. However, due to emulation not being perfect, and this game using QTEs so much, there are button prompts that you can't see at all, making the idea of 100%ing this game impossible for PC emulation gamers. Yeah. Now on to my gripes. I've been alluding to them, implying them for far too long. It is time to just ram into the gripes. Now, starting off, like I said earlier, the cutscenes are in-game instead of pre-rendered. So if you wear a different costume from the default one, the cutscene matches the gameplay. I like this. This is a very nice touch that a lot of games nowadays use. However, for quote-unquote custom costumes that use certain codes, I guess they'd be kind of just cheats or whatever, cutscenes are disabled entirely. Why that is? I don't know. So if you want to play the entire campaign as a Stormtrooper or Mace Windu, but you also want to play the game for its actual story, like its cutscenes, you're gonna have to do that your second playthrough, buddy. Sorry. Not sorry. QTEs, also known as Quick Time Events. I hate these. I have always hated them, and this game makes that hatred even worse. The gameplay you're watching, that's how it is for every single boss. Every single boss battle ends with a QTE. Almost every single set piece has a QTE. Almost every big moment in this game, QTE. No reason. Even needless stuff had QTEs. Now, at this time, I didn't have my controller since I played this before my birthday, and I was using my keyboard and mouse. My hand cramped up multiple times during boss battles. Now, I'm sure that this game was, of course, made for a controller, but still, the QuickTime events were the catalyst, not my playstyle. The entire game, from start to finish, is way too easy. I only died like 5 times throughout the entire game, and that's because of my stupidity. If you die, you only lose a small amount of your points that you used to upgrade. However, there are no other penalties. All the enemies that were dead, stay dead. Also, health packs respawn like less than 2 minutes after use. Now, this is understandable for the later boss battles, but it's completely unnecessary for the rest of the game. Halfway through the game, all of the enemies, including the ATSTs, are pushovers. I could literally electrocute a group of enemies in 6 seconds. They're dead. All of them dead. Like 7 or 8 of them, 6 seconds, they're dead. All of the enemies are pushovers. Like ridiculously. Except the freaking Mandalorians. Now some of you, I'm pretty sure, are asking, Justice, why aren't you showing the Mandalorians on screen? Usually, you'd show it on screen. Why aren't you this time? Well, I love myself enough to not go back to that freaking wretched part of the game just to record footage for like 2 minutes. God, the difficulty spike in that part of the game is through the freaking roof. Oh my God, the Mandalorians. They are so annoying. They have a gigantic health bar, they can fly, have more powerful guns than any of the other enemies, and also use flamethrowers if you get close. Needless to say, they are the majority of my deaths in the game. There are 2 parts in Cloud City where you must take down a gigantic group of them. One of those also had a boss. I'm surprised that I got past those without breaking my keyboard. Whew, okay, no more venting, but my throat hurts, my breathing's getting worse, and I have to really pee, so let's wrap this up real fast in a little cute little bow, little Christmas bow. This version of The Force Unleashed can be ugly. It can be way too easy, but the difficulty spot can go straight up the roof. Some of its logic is so stupid, it makes no sense sometimes. But all in all, it's really fun. Like, very, very fun. Like, on and off fun. That's how it was. I turn it on for a couple of hours, play it, and then turn it off. It's a very fun Star Wars game. If you're a fan of the Star Wars games, or if you're just a fan of the EU games in general, this is definitely going to be your type of game. You're going to be all over it. But if you want a more beautiful, refined game version of this game with also alternate endings and just alternate paths and just more content in general, get the Ultimate Sith Edition for PC on Steam. It's like $20. In my opinion, if you had to spend money on one version of the game, most likely you'd want to spend it on the LucasArts version. But this version, it's pretty freaking good on its own merits. Now, I've heard some really bad things about the sequel. Sounds like a waste of $20 too. I am so in!